Good morning, Mr. President.
Hi, Rebecca.
And not surprisingly, a number of the questions in this room today have focused on jobs. The same is true of the online community. Let me read you one from a viewer who comes from an email. Her name is Tina Peak. She's in Charlotte, North Carolina, and she asks, so many of the good-paying jobs have been outsourced, leaving nothing but low-wage jobs. How can employers feel good enough to hire again or increase wages with so much uncertainty about the economy?
Well, I think that a lot of employers are feeling more confident about the economy. As I said, the economy has now grown for a pretty good stretch of time. We're seeing terrific jobs numbers over the last 3 months, and we've seen sustained job growth in the private sector for over a year now. And I think the key is to recognize that some of the jobs that left aren't going to be coming back, but we've got to be creating new industries and new jobs here in America. And I'll give you one good example. When I took office, we had about 2% of the world's advanced battery market. Those are the batteries that go into these new electric cars and hybrid cars. In a couple of years, we'll have 40% of that market, because what we did was we invested in small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and some large businesses in Michigan, giving them research dollars so that they could start developing new technologies. The same is true on green energy, creating wind turbines, creating new types of solar panels that are more energy efficient. So what we've got to be doing is looking at what are the jobs that are going to be there 20 years from now, 30 years from now, whether it's in biotech, whether it's in clean energy, whether it's in energy efficiency, and make sure that we're funneling basic research dollars there, making sure that the infrastructure is in place so that those companies can succeed. That's where a lot of these new jobs are going to be coming from.
At the same time, though, that we've seen some job growth, there are still 13.7 million people in this country unemployed. Wages have stagnated for the last decade, and you mentioned stocks are up 10% away from their all-time highs. Companies are making record profits. They have $2 trillion of cash to spend. If this isn't the right circumstance for raising wages and really going out and employing new people, what will be?
Well, I guess that's my point when it comes to companies. When I talk to CEOs, the issue here is not uncertainty. I mean, the issue is they've got to start placing their bets on America. It is time for companies to step up. When we were in the middle of recession, our whole job was to make sure the economy was still growing, and we stabilized the financial system, and we did that. And American taxpayers contributed to that process of stabilizing the economy. Companies have benefited from that, and they're making a lot of money. And now's the time for them to start betting on American workers and American products. And we've got some companies that are doing that. I was up at Intel, the microchip manufacturer up in Oregon, and they've just built a new multi-billion-dollar plant. And they are hiring hundreds of new or American workers to work at this new plant. And there are a lot of companies who are doing the right thing and making investments here. And it turns out, in fact, that a lot of the advantages that other countries had in terms of low wages are now offset because quality is better here in the United States. We have the most productive workers in the world, and we've got the best universities in the world. We don't have the best infrastructure in the world, unfortunately, anymore, and we've got to improve on that. That's part of the reason why I'm pushing to make sure that we are rebuilding our roads and our bridges, our ports, our airports. But we've got so many advantages here, but we do have to get companies to start saying to themselves, you know what, we're going to make sure that we are putting back these profits to work here, because if we're hiring people, those are our future customers. We're going to be able to sell more products. We're going to be able to do better in the long run.